Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Over the Ropes Sports. Over the Ropes Sports. Talk show in full effect. We got a YouTube channel now. Podcast still rolling.
We have a website.
www.overtheropesports.com. Go check it out. Still haven't got really much up there, but we're working on it. I say, might do a mock draft article. Maybe that can be something
we
for
could
our
do.
first project on there. Just keep checking it out. Very good stuff coming soon for that. JaxSauce, how you been, man?
Dude, I've been really good. I'm glad to be back here with the crew.
Yes.
With the Sauceteers, I'm going to call them now.
The
The Sauceteers, new 2020 term. We're putting it into effect.
JaxSauce's new 2020 term.
We're the Sauceteers.
I'll put that on the screen. Anyways, today is, of course, the permanent. I know we did this one time, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Friday Night Shenanigans is
Yes,
now
sir.
full effect as its own show.
Finally.
We can talk about everything in one sitting, make it a good time.
Yes, sir.
And I have a list for us today. As you all see from the little intro, I kind of like put out the little picture. You kind of saw the layout of what today's episode was going to be about. But before we get into it, I might as well tell everyone on the podcast that's listening. Today we got a nice hunk of stuff to talk about. We got the NFL 100 season review. We're going to go over all the different stuff, winners or losers of the NFL 100 season, biggest shocker, Super Bowl review, maybe earliest 2021 top 4 predictions.
Because we love doing it.
You know,
We got to.
It's a tradition that we started up last summer.
We got to predict it early. Honestly, we're not bad at it either. We get close.
I was looking.
Because we weren't bad for this one. I'm pretty sure most of us had Kansas City in there.
Yeah, I was okay.
I don't think any of us had the 49ers. I know I had them winning the division.
Yeah, you had them winning. You had them doing pretty good. We didn't have them in the Super Bowl.
No.
It was very close. Mine were a little funky, but we'll get more into that.
Right.
I should have brought the list that I made just to go over what I had, but I didn't even think about it. Next on the list is the long-awaited debut. It's been 2 years. The XFL.
The new improved
XFL.
Nope.
XFL.
Not as much gimmicks.
No gimmicks.
For the love
I'm sorry.
of football.
Everyone that loved Hate Me Now. I know.
That was one of the funniest stories I had. Because he did that before Ocho Cinco did it.
Mm-hmm.
Before Ocho Cinco changed his name, he changed his name to Hate Me Now.
Yep, I know. I'm sorry, guys. No gimmicks, no nicknames. This is real football. And actually, with quite a few athletes that you all know, we're going to get into that, talk about all the games that happened, talk about our pros and cons of the league, and then we'll talk about winners of the week. Because, honestly, the debut was pretty damn good.
Beautiful.
Then we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star Game. Get into a little bit about all the selections and snubs, give our predictions, kind of go run down the rosters, talk about the rule changes, a little bit about the Celeb All-Star Game, some of the challenges, who we think we're going to win, different stuff like that. And then we're going to close today's show out with a little NHL season update. As you know, me and JaxSauce here, hockey fans. That's how it is.
Love it.
Mid-season rundown. We're about the middle of the season now, so we got to go ahead and talk about what everything's looking like, what it's shaping up to be like at the end of the season. We're going to talk about the first half, winners and losers, who we thought were
getting to that
coming on
crunch
top
right now with NHL. It's getting to that point where if you don't start sticking out,
then
start winning, you might be out.
You can
back it up.
Kiss your playoff hopes goodbye, because that Stanley Cup ain't coming to you. And there's definitely 4 teams that can definitely kiss that Stanley Cup goodbye.
Poor fellas.
Update, and then of course our updated Stanley Cup predictions, because as you know, we love doing things very early, so we're gonna kind of go over that. Let's see, anything that I need to talk about before we get started? Yes, I'm just gonna go ahead and shout everything out. We are now streaming on not only Buzzsprout, not only Spotify, not only Apple Podcasts, but we are also now on Google
That's
Podcasts.
4.
And we're
Google.
on YouTube. Yes, we're on Google Podcasts. And I'm in the works and processes of getting us uploaded to iHeartRadio.
That would be
So
interesting.
yes, we may be on iHeartRadio. I'm waiting for the
Andrew.
email to come back.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, trying to get everything to get back. YouTube channel, of course, Over the Rope Sports. Subscribe to us. All the podcasts you can subscribe. Just search up Over the Ropes Sports or Over the Ropes. One of those should be able to bring them up. Then all of our social medias. You know, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Maybe Snapchat soon. Who knows? Because we've taped some trips. So
We do. We like going to games.
Might
Like
as
going to
well.
see things.
So make sure you subscribe to those at Over the Ropes PC. It's still the same. We got business cards now, if y'all can see on the screen. There's been 2 people that have received a stack of business cards from their giveaway that I did a couple months ago. So those might be getting passed around. So if you've seen a business card or found us through the business cards, leave a like and comment. Tell us what's up. Also, if you like getting sauce, leave a like and comment. Tell us what's up.
'Cause we're all saucy here.
And just make sure you click that subscribe button because it not only helps us grow our brand, helps us feel more comfortable with putting out shows for you all, but it also makes everything go much smoother and gives us a lot more ideas and interactions.
And don't forget to follow us on our Twitters.
Oh, yes.
We got-
Twitters.
At Over the Ropes KingTy.
OTR KingTy.
And by the way, I changed my at.
You changed it?
Officially.
It's official?
At Sauce OTR. Follow me, guys. I'm gonna try to start getting active.
I'm putting them on the screen.
I'm going to try to be more active on Twitter. Not a lot of, just mainly sports. I'm going to try to focus on sports and stuff, which I usually do anyways on Twitter. I've kind of gone away from my old Twitter ways. I'm more into getting to retweeting sports, talking about it with other people, you know, kind of getting their opinions as well. So come follow me now.
JaxSauce is on the Twitter game. I'm going to have to give him a shout out.
Yes, sir. Had to.
Anyways,
Should we get right into it then?
I say we go ahead and get right into it.
Let's do
NFL 100, the 100th anniversary season, the 54th Super Bowl. It was a good season. I say biggest complaints I had this season was the usual complaints I have every season, and that's the zebra stripes because they were a little more questionable than usual this year.
Mm-hmm. They're getting better as it progresses. They're not the lockout refs.
Yeah.
That was, oof. But there's still a lot of improvement to be had. You know, a lot of missed calls, a lot of calls that, you know, they had to go back upon after the game and say, oh, we missed this, which I just don't think is a good sign for your NFL. When we had the FSL come in with college refs and they did phenomenal. So it just shows you what the difference.
We'll
that
talk
they can
about
have.
those refs and how maybe the impact of the XFL might transfer over into the NFL next season or here in a couple seasons at the most. Because I really do think there's going to be a lot of, how would I take this? Kind of a lot of like impact, kind of persuasion towards the big league that XFL is going to cause, especially with it running on ESPN and Fox and everybody kind of seeing what's going on. And then the negative impact they've gotten from this year, because the refs, the back and forth calls are kind of getting
out of hand.
Yeah. So, winners and losers of the NFL 100 season. We're going to start with the losers. I went ahead and listed 5 for each.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and go with my biggest loser. Who is the biggest loser of the 2020 NFL season? And that is none other than the Cincinnati Bengals. 2-14 record. They struggled.
I don't think many people were surprised.
Couldn't find their groove. I thought they were okay. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't expect much out of them, but I honestly didn't expect 2-14.
Right.
AJ Green, he was hurt most of the season.
Most of the season. Was he actually hurt? Is the big question.
That's the
though.
question.
Because most people.
Free agent this off season, right?
He is.
Yeah,
I believe
he's a
so.
free agent off season. Maybe that can be an addition for another team looking for a vet receiver. My next loser would be, of course, I mean, it hurts to say this, but the Washington Redskins. 3-13 season. We went through a rough season, got rid of our coach a couple games in.
After that, though, it was all uphill. Even though you
It
guys
was.
didn't, I mean, that's where you guys got the majority of your wins.
Yep.
Other than, Miami, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
okay, though.
But I think you guys, in retrospect, you guys played a tough season, and I
Yeah.
think there's so much to be improved on, especially after we went to the Philadelphia game and I actually got to see you guys. I saw the potential that Haskins had.
We had injuries. Injuries were kind of usually the big part of Washington seasons anyways.
Mhm.
You had the whole Trent Williams holdout.
Yep.
We knew how that all went. The whole Gruden thing. Defense, I mean, it was there, but at the same time, it was kind of not there when it's needed. Offense clicked, but you got to think, we went through 3 quarterbacks in one season.
Mm-hmm.
Another year with 3 quarterbacks in one season. That's hard.
Luckily, I think you guys found that guy.
I think we have to, and I'm really excited to see what the future is taking or will take us.
Ron Rivera, Riverboat, we already talked about a little bit.
Yep.
He's going to make his appearance, basically making the Carolina Panthers Part 2, but with little twists and turns here
Little
and
twists
there.
and turns. I got into more detail about that on Wednesday's podcast and show when I did Washington Weekly. That was the original debut episode, if you all remember. If you didn't remember, go watch that
Go
video
look at
right
it.
now. Give it a like. Hit us up. Tell me what you think, especially all you Washington fans. DC Sports.
You guys are all suffering together.
District of Champions. Hey, we got a winning football team now. We good. We good. Anyways.
1-0, all right, yeah, I'll take it.
Next loser of the 2020 season, I would say, of course, Detroit Lions. 3-12 season, 3-12-1.
Injury again.
Injury, Matt Stafford. That was probably the biggest hit.
Well,
that
then they
took.
lost most of their defense
And
at
then
one
most of their
point.
defense came in.
Lost their star running back.
I wasn't expecting it. If the injury bug stayed away, I think they could have been a better team.
I said it even, definitely.
Patricia's looking a little flopsy. I say he's on the edge of a deal this year if he doesn't get his stuff
he's
together.
he's on a contract year for sure. I think the way they were playing was pretty solid. It's just that I like Blogue. Blogue was an all right quarterback, and they put up points and they were able to produce. It's just they could never finish.
Yeah.
And I think that's a classic Lions thing for them. But they still have a lot of good pieces, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens to them next year. Because, like you said, I think Matt Patricia only has maybe one more year before he might get the can. Their defense has always been solid. Snacks,
Oh yeah,
that he
definitely.
eats.
Always has.
You know, Slay is a beast at the corner. They
He might be gone.
He could be.
He might be gone.
Yeah.
They don't give him the money that he wants, and I'm noticing Twitter interactions going on. And he's asking. He's got a price.
Probably
So if they
big. I
don't
mean, he's
give him-
good.
If they don't give him the money he wants, he might be
probably
on a
leave.
contending team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that. I mean, they're there, but at the same time, they're not,
Mm-mm.
and that's the biggest problem.
We'll just have to see how they produce.
Next loser of the season, Carolina Panthers, is who I got. 5-11. Wasn't too bad of a season, but at the same time, it was kind of a eye raiser. You know, Cam Newton gets hurt, taken out for the rest of the season. They bring in
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen, yeah, that's
Mhm.
his name. He was all right. I mean,
Went to
kinda-
Will Greer one game.
Yeah, went to Will Greer one game.
The key for them and those their wins was Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey carried that team.
He absolutely put them on their back.
Fire Ron Rivera after the loss to Washington, which was actually a shocker because thanks for firing him, by the way. I'm not complaining, but y'all put the blame. I think they used him as a scapegoat
Definitely.
because I don't think that Rivera was the problem. Carolina fans are like, oh, Rivera was the problem. He was terrible, blah, 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 blah. I just don't 100%
I
see
think
that.
people just like to blame the person more instead of thinking more about like the actual
Now, like when your coach was
details
like
of it.
somebody like Jay Gruden, yeah, you blame him because he was just god awful. But Rivera, he had y'all's team doing pretty good. I think if it wasn't for a couple injuries here and there, if it wasn't for a brand new quarterback, and y'all's defense kind of was a little slacky, a little slack.
I think the biggest story out of Carolina is the retirement of Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
I think that shocked the world. The dude was literally just a straight Pro Bowler. Never missed the Pro Bowl.
Never missed.
And he's going to be missed on that defense
He
for
knows
sure.
that the CT is not something to play around with. He's taking hits. I mean, you're a linebacker.
Yeah, you're
You're
delivering
hitting,
them,
especially
yeah.
with a caliber linebacker that he is. He's hitting hard,
Running all over the
fast,
field.
running everywhere. He's a player.
I think he did the right decision. It's going to be sad not to see him, but the way he put it, you could feel this pain,
Yeah.
saying, I just don't think I can do it anymore. I don't think I can keep it. It's kind of
he knew
sad.
his body
yeah.
wasn't there. Also, another retirement news when I was talking about Washington, Vernon Davis, he is now retired. Another
Mhm.
older name. He got a really bad concussion this year. I kind of expected this to happen. It was announced in a Super Bowl commercial with Rob Gronkowski. It was like Gronkowski's retirement crew or something like that.
Yeah. A little wacky to do it, but it was still,
But
it had a nice sentiment
it was
to
a nice. Everybody was like, "Whoa, hold up, pause," and then of course all the statements got released afterwards.
Mhm.
My last loser from the season is probably. I mean, I have them under one of my shockers, just because I'll say it now. Cleveland Browns. I say the biggest bust in NFL history.
So I only had one loser. I picked one main one, and my one main one was Cleveland,
Cleveland,
because they came in with so much hype. They
much
had
hype, so much talent,
yeah.
so much caliber. They had the team to do it.
And they showed it too. Week 1, they played so many. Their first 3 games, they played so many good teams, and they actually either won or
They
held their
started
own.
off hot.
Yeah,
They were one of the only
Baltimore.
teams to beat Baltimore. Exactly. One of the 2 teams to beat Baltimore were the Cleveland Browns. They had the potential. Freddie Kitchens,
Gone.
trash. Gone.
Fired their GM.
Fired their GM. They cleaned house, practically.
Mm-hmm.
Is the replacement good? No. I don't know. I don't know if I could really say that. Wait, who was it? It was crap. Who's the replacement? I hate doing this. Anyways, but yeah, while you look that up,
I got you.
They kind of had that season where everyone was like, oh, they got OBJ, they got Jarvis, they got Baker. Baker comes out and plays mid, god awful. I mean, yeah, they don't have an offensive line, but at the same time, I just didn't see the Baker Mayfield that we saw last year in this year's Baker Mayfield. I didn't see that grind and that desire that he wanted to win. I mean, you got OBJ, guys that we know can make plays, and you're not utilizing him. And that's in the play calling too, because OBJ wasn't getting targeted like that at all.
No.
I mean, Njoku was hurt. So
I think it was
were
more,
lacking on
it
tight
goes back
end.
to Kitchens. I think it was his
It was-
scheme
yeah.
and how everything went. It just didn't create the space that they needed. I think they just ran the wrong offense with him. And the new head coach is the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski.
Yep, Stefanski's the new head coach.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
No.
It might be interesting because he has worked with some good quarterbacks. He's had solid running backs in forms of Dalvin Cook, that he's been able to work with some great receivers as well. So maybe he'll be able to do something of the sorts to bring the team back together.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to say though. You never really saw much of him, never heard much of him, but I think he'll probably be a solid coach. I don't know if it's going to increase their chances to be a better team, but I could see them going probably even next year.
You say even?
Probably.
Just a little bit of an adjustment?
A
I could
little
probably
bit.
see that.
They won't bust out to the seams, but I think if they get all their pieces
The
back.
question is, do they keep all of their pieces? They got people that want out, because, I mean, there's obviously that name that's on the Hot Rocks that wants out. Or that we think that wants out.
I mean, both him, OBJ, and Landry have both been quoted, whether it's true or not, to be going to other teams and saying, "Hey, come get me.
Yep.
I'm done with Cleveland. Come get me."
And that's sad.
And it is, and I think that was more of I don't think it was intentional, but I think it was more of a tactic to get rid of Kitchens in a way. I'm thinking that's the feeling. They just really didn't like the way it was going with the offense. They didn't feel like they were getting the touches they deserved, and they deserved good touches because they were definitely all-star receivers.
Did they botch a McDaniel's miss?
I think they actually saved themselves.
You did?
From a Patriots standpoint and from a Denver Broncos standpoint, if you were a fan of Denver.
Yes, you're right. You did not
And you
do
guys
good.
remember that. Most people would probably be happy that Josh McDaniels did not become a head coach. He is a great offensive coordinator. He has some good schemes, but I don't know if he'd succeed beyond Belichick.
I think, yeah, like you said, he proved that in Denver. Smart guy. Wanted to go home to Cleveland from Ohio.
Right.
Just didn't work out, and like you said, they possibly did save themselves from a little, or maybe
Maybe they
his
just
asking
completely.
price wasn't there,
All right, and that too.
or something of that nature. But you never know when it comes to coaching. And honestly, this year's coaching class kind of was weak. There really wasn't very many options of who to go for.
Go for it. Mm-hmm.
And
It was all
much options of what
coordinators and stuff
teams-
like that.
what teams actually wanted, because I mean, you think about it, there was one top head coach, and that was Ron Rivera on the market.
He got snagged
And obviously
immediately.
was snagged when he got fired. I mean, Joe Gibbs talked to him, and that was it. For Washington, they automatically got that sign.
Mm-hmm. Every other one just basically signed a offensive coordinator position. Garrett, Gruden,
Yep.
all of them are
I
on
forgot that Gruden signed to
Jacksonville's
offensive coordinator. That's going to be interesting to see. I mean, he's a good offensive coordinator.
They're
I
a
just
West
don't know if
Coast.
he's
They're a
gonna be
West
able to-
Coast team with a good power running back, and he's a West Coast guy who likes a solid running back. Clearly, Adrian Peterson with you guys,
Yep.
so they might be able to work something out there. The question for them still is going to be defense for me. They lost a lot of key
You're
pieces. I think Gardner or Nick Foles could do great. I think it's going to be a QB battle between those two next year.
Says the guy that hates Nick Foles.
I absolutely hate Nick Foles, but I mean, I just wanted to see if he actually is better than he was in Philly. You know, if he can prove himself somewhere else.
I got
So
what
I'm
you're
interested. Otherwise, he needs just to get out the league, take his $300 million and get out.
So I'm going to do a quick rundown on these winners real quick. Of course, the biggest winner, and I'm just going to might as well talk about the Super Bowl while I'm at it. Kansas City Chiefs, 2020 Super Bowl champions.
Congratulations.
Super Bowl 54 winners. Shout out to my boy Andy Reid. Coach Reid, you finally got your ring.
He deserved
it.
Yeah.
Patty Mahomes, Mahomie, he finally got his
A
ring.
comeback.
A
And
comeback.
that was the story of him this season.
That's the
completely.
story. It really is, honestly.
Just the comeback of Patrick
Comebacks.
Mahomes.
And honestly, the main thing is just Kyle Shanahan. Man, you just don't learn.
So close, man. But
You just don't learn.
You just like blowing things. Just blow it all the way.
10+ point lead gone.
Matter of minutes. All it takes.
That's crazy. Mahomes threw 26 for 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, he had an okay game. Passing was a little off. He was kind of struggling, but the main ones that hit were the ones that
Big.
mattered the
Mhm.
most.
And that was the factor towards, I think, the 49ers front line.
Mhm.
They had a very strong front
They
line
were
this
coming
year.
at him. Except here's the thing. They were coming at Mahomes, but they forgot about one dude in the forms of Williams. He had 17 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown.
And that's the thing about a 4-3 sometimes, is if you run against those West Coast teams, they only have really those inside or bounce outside runs. So if you start trying to guard inside, they're going to bounce it out. If you
Yeah.
start trying to guard outside, they're going to bounce it inside on you. Just run through the tackles.
That's what he did, especially with that game-sealing touchdown that he ran on him. Jimmy G, Mitty G, 20-31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown.
I will say to his credit, I think he was kind of like a Tannehill this season. He didn't have to put himself out
Yeah,
there.
he didn't have
He
to.
had the system around him and a solid
Agreed.
group of running backs for one. He had four running backs this season who played phenomenal.
Mhm.
And they didn't have any receivers. They had a couple, really solid ones, but nothing really out there for him. George Kittle was really
Yeah.
his main target
His
this
main
season.
guy, pretty much.
If they can keep getting themselves well-rounded, they'll definitely be back, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I got. I mean, Kansas City, San Francisco, obviously 2 top winners of the season. For San Francisco's sake, and actually a shocker for a lot of people I know, is Kansas City's defense, probably one of the most questionable run defenses in the league, came to play. Mostert only had 12 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. They held that run perfectly, and something that we thought wasn't going to
Pretty
happen,
possible.
especially after we saw what happened to Green Bay. And I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I was shocked because I doubted Kansas City's defense a little bit.
I think they
throughout
knew.
the season.
I think they knew going in if they could shut down the run,
Mhm.
they'd be able to probably seal the
they
game.
made Jimmy G pass, and with the calibers of backs that Kansas City has, I mean, they got the safeties, they got the corners. They really that
Shout out to
passing
Kendall.
game- Yep,
Got
Kendall.
that game sealing
Nation,
INT.
game Super Bowl ceiling, interception, and then also shout out to my boy. Oh crap, I done blanked out here. Damn. Oh well. Anyways, just
Shout out to that one guy that we forgot.
We might flash it on the screen if we remember it later.
Yeah, I'll put something on there. Picture, shout out to you. Just kidding. Anyways,
For the rest of your winners, because I see you got a couple.
Yeah, I got a couple more winners. So of course, one of the biggest winners from the season. I mean, you get a 14-2 record, you're automatically a winner, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. They powered through. Unfortunately, got
powered through.
And that's what I'm getting to for my. I'm just gonna make this my last winner and talk about them, and also one of my other biggest shockers in the season, and that's Tennessee Titans. They have the system. They figured the system out. It went from New England's wild card exit, which was one of the shockers. It went from the Baltimore upset, and then unfortunately you couldn't handle with Mahomes. But at the same time, shout out to Tennessee. Tannehill, he did his job when he had to. Derrick Henry, an absolute beast. That team, Coach Vrabel, he's got it figured out. I think they get a couple more pieces, they can be a solid
team. Their defense is nasty too.
Yeah, their defense, I mean, a lot of people were kind of questioning it, but nah, that defense can come to play. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got when it comes to shockers and winners. Who was your winner?
My number one winner easily was Kansas City.
Yeah.
It was just.
That's what I figured.
Like I said, the whole 0 to hero for Mahomes literally went from being injured. They had a backup quarterback who played well when he was there. They still got wins with him. They were able to contain, because they had so many targets. I think that was the big thing about Kansas this year. The number of targets that Mahomes has is redonkulous, including himself. He himself is a weapon and a threat. If you can throw 2 no-look passes a game, that's crazy. That's how you do it. I think that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing that threw all the defenses off. You're supposed to read the guy's eyes. How can you read a guy's eyes if he's just throwing it without looking?
If he's over here looking right here, and he's like, okay, boom,
boom. I know he's going to be right there. It's absolutely crazy how he knows that
he's
scheme.
He's an athlete. I think if that team gets
if they start reloading a little bit,
gets one more piece, I believe they'll be back next year.
Like maybe one more solid running back or something like that. Because I mean, I like Williams and
their running back's
good.
Okay.
But
if they get a solid running back and if they keep their receivers and or add one more main piece, they're set. It's over. You can count them back in the Super Bowl. So it's time. Top 4 predictions. Let's go ahead and predict the Super Bowl. Why not? My top 4 for this year or for this coming up year will be. At number 1, best record in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 2, second best record in the league, the Baltimore Ravens. At number 3, the San Francisco 49ers. And at number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. I got the Seahawks going. I say they added one more piece this offseason, get everything a little cleaned up, and I think Russ is coming for something next year. I don't think he's done just yet.
Yeah.
And of course, who you got?
I went a little bit of a mix-up.
All right.
My number 1 I picked was the 49ers. I think that, like I said, if they can reload, they have all the pieces. I think they really just choked that game away. They had so much of a potential to win it, they just couldn't pull it out.
You're right.
My next one was Baltimore, easily. The Ravens just showed that they were a beast this season. They just got ran over. If they can start figuring things out again and do the same thing again, I have no doubt they'll be top 4, maybe Super Bowl potential. Because, like Lamar said, he's ready for it. He's competing for it. My number 3 actually is New Orleans. I think they've just been. I think that I think they're always a safe pick, but they just this year both of them just choke.
Question. New Orleans. What happens when Bree says bye-bye? Does that change your answer?
If he says bye-bye before the season starts, then yeah, New Orleans would probably be out of the question for me. But as long as Breeze is there, they're always a contender.
Because it's on the edge right now. It's a question. It's a question.
It is. It is. But I think with all the talent they have, Mike Thomas, Alvin Kamara, they just have a high-powered offense, and they saw the defense to back them up.
Yep.
I think they always catch the wrong end of the stick, and I don't know why they just can't get past Minnesota. I don't know what it is, and I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like it, Kirk. I don't like that.
It either, because y'all like Kirk Cousins on a freaking playoff game.
Sad. And then my surprise 4th, because I like doing that, is the Buffalo Bills. Actually, I think they should have beat the Houston Texans. I think their defense let them down a little bit. I think they can key in on getting a couple more good pieces maybe on the line a little bit, help the secondary out a little bit, because they have Micah Hyde, you know, they got your Davius White, they got a good linebacker core, maybe beat that up Tremaine Edmonds.
Yep.
You know, if they start adding some more people and some more talent on the front line for Josh Allen, they could be doing something.
Got you.
You know, I think they have the talent. A couple more receivers here. They don't have big name receivers, but they have receivers who can produce.
Got you. Super Bowl. What you think?
Um,
Throw something out there. Why not? Why not?
Earliest prediction right now, I'm gonna say the Baltimore Ravens, and then probably the 49ers.
Ravens 49ers. I
Yes,
like
sir.
it. My earliest prediction, I'm gonna go with Chiefs or Seahawks. Mahomes versus Wilson.
It's a good.
It's
It's
a
a
good-
solid. It's a
it'd
solid
be good.
choice.
Football is
Did
great.
we do our biggest shocker?
Yeah, I mean, what was yours?
Oh,
I
mine-
kind of covered mine throughout.
So mine was, I just had one big one, and mine was, and this is really big to me, I say the Miami upset in Miami over New England,
Ooh.
sending them to not get that first round bye to get knocked out by the Tennessee Titans. I think that's the biggest shocker for me because that's the first time in a long time the Patriots hadn't had that bye. And I think that affected them in a way, and they just didn't
Yeah.
show up to play,
Yeah,
and
the
they
Dolphins-
got ran
the
over.
Dolphins had a couple key upsets this season.
Yeah, it
surprisingly.
was going to be Miami probably for me either way. I couldn't choose if it was
I like
going to be
that.
the Philadelphia Eagles, who still ended up in the playoffs.
I
you
watched that game. I was happy. My boy Fitzpatrick turned up that Fitzmagic in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good game for them, and they set us up basically to lose that first round game.
I like it. I like it. Football for the love of football, and when I mean for the love of football, I mean the XFL. It is back. We got spring football in full rotation. It's time to talk a little bit about that. Opening kickoff weekend was this previous weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
4 amazing, and I mean like pretty amazing games. Only a couple, I mean there was one blowout kind of dominance, but other
Right.
than that, I think we're in for something good here.
It was very back and forth. You know, there were the only game that started off slow was the Battlehawks versus the Renegades, but then it started picking up a little
Picked up
bit.
a little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll just go ahead and go over the results here a little bit. We'll talk with just not too much about it, get into too detail. We might end up having like a XFL podcast one day just for a little special episode, because why not? First game, Seattle Dragons versus the DC Defenders. DC Defenders won that game 31-19. I mean, hey, like I said, DC got them a football team, and they got them a quarterback, Cardale Jones.
Mr. Jonesy,
CJ
call him.
coming in, came in clutch, had a game 16 for 26,
Some of
235
the
yards,
stuff
2 touchdowns.
That man did blew my mind watching the game. The one where he gets tripped up, still gets the pass off,
that
the
perfect
double
pass,
trick
yeah.
play.
That double trick play was amazing. The ball hit like
Beautiful.
4 different people's hands before it returned back to Cardell. It was such a fun game
It really
to
was.
watch.
I think it was the best start for it.
Honestly, yeah. And then we followed up. You had the LA Wildcats and the Houston Roughnecks. I mean, that was a battle. And it was a battle showcased of what could happen in the XFL when it comes to higher scoring games. Houston Roughnecks won 37-17. PJ Walker, the PJ Walker show is now what they're calling it.
Yeah, you
And
should.
I can say that. Man had 272 yards. He threw 23 for 39, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns for PJ Walker. How the Colts got rid of him, I do not understand.
We're so confused.
We were talking about that earlier.
And I told him, I said, I think they found it with Brissett. They really like him. He has good size, but still mobile, and he has the ability to hit every receiver. But I kind of saw PJ Walker doing the same thing.
And
you
he
know?
did that when he was in Indianapolis. I
Yeah.
mean, the preseason games that he played, he showed out. I really think he could have given Jacoby a run for his money.
And I think that's why he went to the XFL. I think he's ready to show
Oh.
that like he can compete
A
anywhere.
lot of these people are, I believe, definitely. I think that the XFL is going to be one of these leagues where it's like, okay, so you're in college, you don't really get seen from the draft, and you don't really get seen from your pro day. So you get signed to this other league, play a couple years there, and then you got NFL teams like, hold on,
This dude has
wait
some
a
talent.
minute, this guy might be good, and then sign some athletes, because this league definitely has a few, And when I say a few, I'm talking there's a handful on every team.
Mm-hmm. Cam Phillips got a receiving touchdown for the Roughnecks. I like seeing him out there, another Hokie.
Oh, Hokie Nation, yep. Speaking of Hokie Nation, I'm going to the next game.
Oh man, if y'all didn't see this game, I almost cried laughing.
New York Guardians versus the Tampa Bay Vipers. New York Guardians won 23-3. New York is a team that you might want to watch. I know I give
At McGloin,
I give praise to DC. I give praise to Houston. New York is going to be another top team. Matt McGloin, he looks legit.
Man.
That defense looks hefty
Ooh,
too.
yeah.
That defense looks very hefty. Honestly, I cannot wait for the DC New York matchup next week or this weekend.
Or this weekend, yes.
And it's going to be very interesting to see.
But the thing that we're talking about is Ricky Walker.
Ricky Walker, first person in XFL history to be ejected from a game for throwing a punch. You clocked him.
He did.
I mean,
he clocked him.
I can't say. I sent the video to P Diddy, and he was like, "Damn, he got him good."
Yeah. I'm saying one good shot and go sit in the locker room.
Ricky, we did not teach you that.
We didn't.
Come on, you did not learn.
We're not playing Kentucky out there, all right?
Oh God, don't.
I knew I was gonna come and make the joke. I had to.
Oh, no.
And we're not playing Kentucky out there, all right?
Yeah, Ricky. God, I mean, you made history.
That was like history. There you go. Yeah.
Congratulations. Next game, Seattle Battlehawks, Dallas Renegades. Bob Stoops' coaching return was ruined at home for him. Seattle Battlehawks came in and they played a game. They look like a team, nitty-gritty, down-to-earth football team. They run, they pass when they need to.
Jordan Ta'amu from Old Miss played a very good game. I don't know how he really wasn't scouted all that well coming out of college. I mean, he did have his inconsistency through Ole Miss. He didn't play much, came in late. But when he did play for Ole Miss, he played really well. He had a pretty solid game, nothing out of the ordinary, but he kind of did a lot of things. He showed how versatile he is.
He showed that he was good. He showed that he could fit in on this team and kind of keep his spot as it is.
Don't count Dallas out, though. They're the favorites to win for a reason this season. They have Cameron Payne, Dunbar. They have a ton of Reason core, and they just had, their quarterback was gone. Their team was supposed to be Landry Jones.
I think
he was injured.
Yeah, he had an ankle injury. Said that he's going to give it a shot this week.
Try and practice, see how it feels.
I'm going to be excited to see how it goes. I think that, they might be a good team. I'm not sure 100% if I could put it on the quarterback.
Right.
Because you got to think, they scored 9 points, and all 9 points came from the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Offense, of course, yeah, you have a bad quarterback, but maybe that Battlehawks defense was just too good. Because, they're rushing. They only got, maybe over 50 yards rushing the entire game.
That is very tough.
And then, like I said, they scored 0 touchdowns. So maybe a couple key things to lock in. But when it comes to the Battlehawks, they're showing me that they're a nitty-gritty team. They had over 200 yards rushing. And that's combined with their quarterback rushing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a good
season, man.
Good season for all these teams. I don't even know if I said the score for that game, but it was 15-9 Battlehawks. Let's talk about pros and cons of this league. Yeah, we'll talk about pros and cons here for a minute.
Okay.
What do I like about this league? Well, there's a few things. Number one, kickoff rules. The whole kickoff where you got to wait till the receiver catches the ball before the front lines move and block. It provides access for the runner to not only get a bigger return, but also safer, so it's not head-to-head collision onto each other. If the kick goes out of bounds, it's pretty much a penalty for the kicking team.
And they go up to
the 35.
They're up 35.
So it's destined to be you have to kick it to a guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no kick it in the end zone touchback type of deal. It's football.
Which you can do. Yeah, I would say you can get a touchback.
You can do, but at the same time you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it only hurts you because it's not like 25.
Nah.
You're getting closer. You're letting them score practically with as fast.
You're basically already at the midfield line, which is.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. The fast pace of this game, I like. I like 25-second play clock. I really like that, and I know a lot of the head top guys in the football league are kind of interested in that. That could be a rule that's possibly adopted. Makes everything go a little quicker. The whole running play clock for the 2-minute warning.
Yep, I really enjoy
like that. Another thing I really like, and of course, like we were talking about with the NFL, live referee mics.
That was
Conversations
really nice
on the referees. Let us know what exactly they saw, what exactly they didn't see. Then you take it to the booth where we get a camera on what they're replaying. And you see that. And you hear the referees' conversations from them to the guy in the booth. You hear it all.
And they did it quick too. They didn't take their time with it. They weren't slow. They're like, all right, well, this is it. You can say this about it, however you want to phrase it. Go out there, reverse the call, stay the call, whatever it is. And the thing I like most with the replay rule is no coach can challenge it. It has to come from the booth.
Challenge, yep. I like that. It kind of shows you that it's serious, like when you go to the booth. And I mean, they had, honestly, penalties this opening weekend weren't bad. There was maybe one or two questionable ones, but at the same time, I think they really kept their word on when it comes to how they're going to treat the cloth, how they're going to let them play, and the extent of how serious it's going to be.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like, post-play interviews.
It's
great. You fumble a ball, you get an interviewer in your face. Hey, so you fumbled that ball out there. How do you feel?
How do you feel now, buddy?
You throw the game-losing pick six. So yeah, how do you feel about throwing that pick six to kind of seal your team losing this game? I mean, it's just great. You get coach interviews. It's fun. It's all around. It's good football. It's entertaining.
I listen to Pat McAfee every day. I love Pat McAfee.
Now,
big fan.
I'm going to get into that. Pat McAfee. When I have Pat McAfee on my TV, on national ESPN television, saying they kick some ass,
it makes you happy.
Is great. You got Pat McAfee over here cussing on ESPN. We don't hear that.
No.
This is just fun football. This is down to earth fun.
Which is PG. Football. I would say they were PG-13 with it, which they announced they were. And
that's how it is. I like it. It's fun. They don't get penalized for celebrating. As you saw, did you see the video about where the dude got hit, he got tackled, and the defender comes up and he starts moving his hips, and all of a sudden in the background, you see the running back that got hit on the ground doing push-ups.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny video. If you haven't seen that, go look it up. That was entertaining. You got any more pros to add to the list?
The communication between quarterback, receiver. I absolutely love that. How you can hear what the coach is calling. I don't think that's going to affect play calling at all.
I'm going to get into that here in a second.
I don't know if it will. It could, but I don't think it will affect it too much. I like how it makes it quicker, which they needed to do. Yeah. It's connection. You don't have to go tell all your receivers to play. They already know what it is. You just got to line up, tell your blockers to do their job, call out the play, for them, and then run it. They don't have like the NFL where they have huddle, call 2 plays.
Yes, no huddle.
Check it. If it ain't there, check it down.
Yep.
It's basically like they're playing no huddle, like you said.
No huddle, fast football. Anything else?
That was really it.
So, like you said, I got a bone to pick with a little bit of this. One of my biggest cons, and it's actually one of my only cons. It is my only con. Coaching mic up. It's not a bad idea, but at the same time, you're kind of giving away play calls, in a sense. You got a coach mic'd up when he's calling the plays. You got the offensive coordinator mic'd up in the booth when they're calling the plays. Obviously, this film can be found, and the audio is going to be heard. But so yeah, it's cool for the fans to see what's going on. But then it kind of irked me a little bit because you got the broadcasters in the booth dissecting the plays. So not only do we hear what the plays are being called, but you also know what exactly they're doing.
Right.
So in a sense, the other teams can go back, get that film, and know exactly what the plays are going to be.
I think big thing to counter that con is just the diversity of this league.
Yeah.
There are going to be so many misdirections. They probably are going to invent new play calls as they go too.
I feel that. Yeah.
I feel like it can be a con, but I feel like they're going to work ways around it.
Got you.
I think there's going to be planning, and if not, they'll probably just take it away. Just for the safety of
And
their playbook
they're
and stuff like that.
I mean, they do get, as I saw, I will say this, they are very inclusive to the fans, because I did see a couple of changes from Saturday to Sunday. Like the coaching thing, it wasn't as hefty as it was on Saturday, and there was quite a couple people complaining about that. And then there was one more thing, I forgot what it was, but they made a change too. But it's looking like they're going to be listening to the fans, see what they kind of like, which is a good thing when it comes to this.
I think
kind of
Vince
a way-
McMahon is the man for that, though. He's always very good about, whether you like him or not.
Somewhat.
He's sometime.
Fans and McMahons,
I think it's a little difference
they
between
get along.
football
Yeah, no,
and
definitely.
professional
And I
wrestling.
think Oliver Luck knows what
A
he's doing with
genius.
this league.
Yeah.
He knows what's going
Mhm.
on. Winners of the week. Let's talk about some winners, and then I'll talk about a couple more things. Of course, I'm going to say the number one winner of the week is the XFL in whole. Ratings were looking, what I saw was about 3 to 4 million viewers. Give you a
That's
comparison, the AAF, their week one, they only got 2.9. Of course, this has got, I'm pretty sure it's got more broadcasting type, like advertisement, but we'll see how that holds when it comes to week 6 and when it comes to March Madness time,
Right.
and see if the things fall off.
It'll probably be more on like ABC and Fox,
Well,
because most of the games are on ESPN
Their
or stuff like that,
schedule,
or
yeah, I mean, the
which you also
XFL
could do is like
schedule,
anything. You could just throw it on
they're,
NBC if there's no
I mean,
game
they're
on
going
NBC.
ABC, they're going Fox, they're going steady Fox to ESPN throughout the whole whatever, the whole
I will say
season.
March Madness.
Now, when
with,
March Madness comes around, it looks like they're more taking a couple more FS1s, FS2, and then ESPN2. But ABC and Fox is still kind of that primary.
That's not bad.
And then, of course, the championship's going to be played on ESPN, which is good.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with March Madness.
Yeah,
it's
it's going
hard.
to be. And people are like, oh yeah, Fox is going to get rid of them. They're going to get upset with them as ratings have dropped. Well, let me tell you something. As a professional wrestling fan, SmackDown went to Fox and it hasn't gotten any better in ratings. It's actually dropped in ratings, and they still haven't got rid of them. And we're seeing people eat dog food on national television. So that's that when it comes to people that were saying that. But I got a bone to be picked. Well, y'all might hear something about that on Sunday's episode.
I'll let you finish, but Prego is great sauce. I just had to say that because it's just so random. Dog food, so random.
I don't understand. We'll talk about some winners of the week, and then we'll wrap up the XFL talk. Who would you say, if you had, I guess, who would your winners be?
My two winners are going to be the DC Defenders. Just had a really good first game, set the tone for the XFL, and then we'll finish off with the Seattle Battlehawks. Seattle got their football team back.
Yep.
So that's exciting for them. I think they had a really big win against Dallas to start them off. They'll have to keep it going, keep it rolling. I think it's going to be a great season for them, though.
I'm going to agree with you. Definitely DC Defenders. I think, as hype as I was from this team, I wasn't exactly sure how they were going to click. But when it came to the opening game, very first XFL game, they played a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Defense, solid. Offense, solid. You can tell Pep Hamilton's got some ideas in his head, especially with that trick play we saw.
Yeah.
So it's looking like that's going to be a fun team to keep your eyes on. It's kind of worrying me because we're getting a lot of people coming onto our fan base. So I'm getting a little bit scared. Like, can y'all just like go on to like Seattle or LA or something? Like, stay away from the DC route. But it's okay. Everyone can join in on the fun. Definitely going to be going to a game. We're making that official. When we go up for that Lakers Wizards game,
We're going to the DC.
we're going to that DC game at 2 o'clock because the games are finishing at about 5. Basketball game don't start till 8. We'll have about 3 hours in between. Gotta make it happen. Tickets, fairly cheap. They're not expensive. If you have an XFL team around you, go to a game.
Go watch it, yeah.
Go to a game.
These
Or
are pro
watch
athletes.
it on
This
TV.
is not semi-pro. This
Yeah.
is not
I know
arena
people are
football.
like, oh, these aren't nobodies. These are, they are. They
These are
really
people.
are. It started off it was a little sloppy here and there, but at the same time, we're just getting kicked off. They're just getting back in the routine of playing football for a full season again. Practicing, they've been practicing for about 7 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's starting up.
Which is crazy too, which I don't think people recognize. 7 weeks of training,
Yeah.
it's absolutely crazy to the NFL. The NFL gets a whole, basically from basically the start of June till the end of
Yeah,
August.
they get months.
September, yeah, a little bit of
Yeah.
September too, and then they go in, they start playing preseason. You know, you get more reps in preseason. There was no preseason.
No
They had a couple.
preseason.
They
You
had
come on,
a
you
non-touch,
play again. They had
non-tackle
scrimmages.
exhibition, and then one real
scrimmage.
exhibition.
Yep.
And that was it. And then they went to play.
And they came and played, and literally they played. They played football, and probably more exciting football than a lot of the games I saw played this year in the NFL season.
I have to agree.
Now, of course, I'm going to have a little fun here just because I wanted to pick on somebody because I'm going to give one loser of the week. I didn't put this in the plans, but my loser of the week, quarterback from the Tampa Bay Vipers, Aaron Murray. Aaron Murray, 1634, 231 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdown, and will probably be the first quarterback to lose his starting spot in 3 different teams.
I had so much confidence for him too. I was like, I like Aaron. He's not bad. He played so well at Georgia.
He killed it in Georgia. I'm pretty sure he still holds the SEC record, honestly.
He does. But if you think about it, Georgia is kind of like a systematic team. They know who they want at quarterback.
Yeah, you're right.
Jake Fromm is that kind of systematic quarterback that we've seen that Georgia can produce.
Yep.
I think once he got into the NFL and into the XFL and started, trying to make his way, I don't think he had the talent completely. He showed glimpses, and it's going to be interesting to see how they continue with him. If he improves, if they improve. But yeah, I actually have to agree. One of my losers should definitely be Tampa Bay this week, and definitely him.
For sure. Well, that's the XFL season. Next week, got a bunch of games coming up. Or this weekend. It'll be good. New York Guardians versus DC Defenders. Tampa Bay Vipers versus Seattle Sea Dragons. Dallas Renegades versus LA Wildcats. Seattle Battlehawks versus Houston Roughnecks, which is actually going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to that Seattle-Houston and that DC-New York game because I think those two are going to be the highlights of the week.
Yes.
Also, keep your eye out for Dallas, just see how Andrew Jones does.
Oh, yeah.
He's returning if he does come back.
Yep.
So I think that wraps it up for the XFL. It's fun. If you
exciting,
haven't watched it, tune in. Seriously, it's good stuff. Ready to roll on to our next subject?
Yes, sir.
Our next subject, time for the NBA All-Star Game. But before I do that, I do want to say this. January 26, 2020, devastating news happened in the sports world. A helicopter crashed out of Calabasas, California. 9 people were killed.
I just got chills.
Yeah, so
chills.
9 people were killed. John Kerry, Alyssa Altobelli, Sarah and Peyton Chester, Christina Mauser, and Ara Zobian, along with Kobe and Gianna Bryant. Very terrible stuff. So before we get into anything right now, I do want to hold a 8-second moment of silence just in honor of Kobe.
A little more,
Maybe a
but
little
let's
more,
say, but that's
it's
just for
still-
good. Yeah, but
I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest with you. I kind of zoned out there for a minute. Yeah, sad stuff. But we'll stay off the sad stuff. On to the good stuff. NBA changed up a bunch of different stuff to honor this. Number 1, the All-Star jerseys. Team LeBron will be wearing number 2 jerseys to represent Gianna. Team Giannis will be wearing number 24 jerseys to represent Kobe. And on each of the jerseys, it'll have 9 stars, honoring everybody that was involved in the crash.
really great gesture.
Also, the rules got changed. We are now going to have so the first 3 quarters are going to be like mini games. And at the beginning of each quarter, the score is going to reset to 0. Each of those mini games, the winner's going to get $1,000 to go to their $100,000 to go to their charity. And then in the 4th quarter, all 3 of those quarter scores are going to be added up together. And then the first team to go over 24 is going to win $200,000 more and win the game. So another honor to Kobe, plus 24. And I know a lot of people have questioned it, but I kind of look at it like this. Kobe was the type of person, as we know, to have that hard-playing mentality never stop, kind of grind the whole time action. So I think that 3 mini games where you're playing to win each time is definitely good for that, because it's not letting them just go out there and have fun and mess around. It's kind of making them want to win the game. And then especially when it comes to the fourth quarter where you've got to go up 24, that's more of a push to actually play instead of just, here, pop the ball out to the 3, let me shoot this long ball from the logo real quick.
Right.
It's kind of making them play defense, making them play offense, making them play like Kobe would play. So, with that being said, let's talk about rosters a little bit, get into some selections, some snubs, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Team LeBron James will be consisted of Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Luka, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Domantas Sabonis. Pretty solid team.
Very solid.
Very solid team. Honestly, that team's deadly. I wouldn't be surprised if they won all 3 games.
Oh yeah.
To be real with you, because when you get to Team Giannis' team, no offense, Giannis, but this game. Before I announce this roster, I just want to put out that this game is going to be like Walmart versus Dollar General.
Everybody loves a good Dollar General when you need it, but Walmart's always there.
Yeah, exactly. Giannis will have Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, Kemba Walker, Trae Young, Chris Middleton, Bam Adebayo, I don't even know how to
Adebayo, yeah.
Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler, bum-ass Kyle Lowry. Every time I say his name, I just gotta include bum-ass Kyle Lowry.
He's having a summer season.
Yeah, just wait till I get in my rant here real quick. Brandon Ingram and Donovan Mitchell. So it was a decent team. Nothing compared to LeBron's team. Now, this is where I can go off. Here we go. 5, 4. Where the hell is Bradley Beal?
Where is he?
Not on the list. He got snubbed. One of the biggest snubs in history. In fact, hasn't happened since the 1980s. A player that scores over 29 points a game does not get selected to be in the All-Star game. How did that happen? Don't ask me.
Apparently team.
But I guess it's
Apparently
the team.
Team record or something.
I guess it's the
like
team,
that,
even though you got somebody like freaking Trae Young over here playing on the trash Hawks, and he's got a starting spot, let alone not a reserve spot. But also, Devin Booker. Where's Devin Booker? That's another big
Don't get me
snub.
started about Booker.
You go
That's
ahead,
my
get
boy.
started. It's stupid.
That's
man.
my boy.
Like I said,
man.
you got bum-ass Kyle Lowry on this team, and you don't got people like Bradley Beal or Devin Booker. It's, when it comes to freaking Donovan Mitchell, why is Donovan Mitchell in there and not Devin Booker?
So thinking about both the years so far, Booker's definitely had a better season, but Mitchell's always been a solid player for the Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people look at Donovan as that slasher type, not the shooter that Booker is. But I think that's why they really liked him more. I think it was a combination between team, fan, every time voting. So
Yeah, I think the voting it plays a big factor.
yeah,
It kind of plays a dumb factor too, but Bradley Beal, that's still shocking.
yeah. And then I had 2 extra snubs in my opinion. I think Karl Anthony Towns should have been in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's had an amazing year. He's going to be in the Rising Star
Glizzy.
game.
I don't know how Glizzy didn't do it.
He is a great prospect, and he will have I think he would make a great impact on either one of those teams, but he'll have a good Rising Star challenge.
I think that's
and
just the
everything like
thing.
that.
He's kind of newer, so he'll just stick. And then even though Trae Young is in the Rising Stars, but that's interesting.
That's the international one. That's going to be a good game too.
Anyways, but yeah, it'll be a good game.
He's technically from, I forget where he is from, Canada. That's right. Yeah, and playing for the Thunder now. That's going to be a good game. The Rising Stars.
Yeah.
Because those lineups. The American team's going to be hard.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but that world team's nothing to mess with either.
So, who you got winning the All-Star game? Giannis?
Yeah, definitely Bron.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Giannis. I'm a big Giannis fan. I love Giannis. They have a very large team when you think about it, and a lot of good shooters, which is kind of a good balance for what they have. Good defense as well, I think, is very key for Giannis's team instead of Bron's. But I'm probably gonna say Braun, even though I'll probably be cheering for Giannis a little bit because they got my boy Kimba on there.
Got you. And you got the All-Star Celebrity Game.
I'm actually
Team
super.
Stephen A.
I'm excited for it.
It's gonna be good.
It's one-sided, absolutely, as well,
definitely.
but it's gonna be a
We
very
get to see if Ronnie 2K knows how to play basketball or if he just makes shitty games.
Yep. But I think that Stephen A team is going to dominate. Chance the Rapper is a baller.
They got Spice Adams on there.
Spice. Who else they got on there? They got Quavo, who won the MVP last year. Darius Miles, who was a former NBA forward, he'll be good. He'll definitely be interesting to see. Who else do they got? That's really
They got Adrian Wilson from the Aces.
Okay. Yeah. So they have a couple good teams. On the other side, you got Common, Bad Bunny, Hannibal Buress. You know,
They got that man Kane Brown. I am so weird.
Yeah, I was actually surprised about that.
I like me some Kane
but
Brown.
I don't know. I'm gonna be interested. I'm gonna be
Interesting.
interested to see if he can shoot or not. See what he can do.
It'll be a fun game for sure.
Those games are getting better.
Definitely Team Stephen A. for the win. Just talk about a couple more things. You know, slam dunk contest. I'm gonna call it now. Dwight Howard's winning.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Just because of that whole Kobe thing. The fact that Kobe was supposed to help him with the slam dunk challenge, I can see Dwight Howard going out there and doing some crazy stuff.
He might, but I'm gonna be honest. The only person I don't like on here is Pat. I don't know who chose Pat Connaughton over some of the dunkers we have in this league. I guess they were like, all right, we'll just throw Pat in. But the dunkers in this are no joke. Derek Jones Jr.
You're right.
A outstanding dunker.
And then you got Aaron Gordon.
And Aaron Gordon, who was injured last year, didn't show up as well in the dunk contest. A little more healthier, maybe a little more spring, might show something. It should be good. I always look forward to the slam dunk.
3-point contest. Calling it now. Do not sleep, and I mean do not sleep on my man Bertans. All right. Davis can pull a sleeping victory. Latvian sharpshooter, he can hit some threes. And I think that he might have a good chance.
He's good
To take a dub.
I'm gonna go with the favorite here, and that's Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard.
I think honestly it'll probably be between Dame and Bertans.
Probably Bertans. Yeah, I agree. Trey Young might be in the talk, just because he is lights out, but we never know.
Skills, Glizzy.
I really like Gilgeous there, but I'm gonna have to go with my boy, my defending boy, Jason Tatum here.
True.
That was a crazy shot he made too. From half court, just swapped it in. One of the skills. He has some handles. He's pretty good. We'll see how it turns out.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But that's the All-Star game. That pretty much wraps up all that. Kind of on our stretch here, main stretch. It's been a decently long episode per usual, like Friday. Shenanigans will be. We're about an hour in, so if you all have watched this, I really appreciate you all sticking through. Because it's fun. We have fun doing it.
Hopefully you grabbed a snack at one point.
Studio.
Got hydrated or something.
Yeah, drink some H2O. Maybe get some body armor. Can we get sponsored?
Can we? We'll take
Somebody
anybody.
Hit up some reps.
We'll do videos. We'll do commercials. We'll do quick plugs. We'll do it all.
Like if any sock companies want to sponsor us.
I love socks.
Yeah, socks.
I do. I love socks.
Hit us up. Closing out the episode. Oh, it's time to talk about NHL. We're going to kind of get a little speed on this just because it's getting a little late. But,
Gotcha.
Mid-season rundown here. Biggest thing I see right now is the divisions are kind of tight.
They are very tight.
As bad as some of them look, they're still tight. My winners from this, of course, are going to be the top 4 in the league right now. And one's actually kind of a shocker to me, but hey. Number 1, Boston Bruins. They're sitting at first place. They're 34-11, 80 points. Oh, God. It makes me sick to my stomach.
I told you
Second place.
We weren't done.
Second place, Washington Capitals, my boys. It's 36-14. We're having
I always cheer for Ovi, man. God, I have to.
a little bit of a struggle. Ovi, hopefully he can reach 700. Which, honestly, by the time that you're all listening to this, he probably
already did.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens there. We got 77 points. The Blues are at 32-15 with 73 points, and then surprise, surprise, the Canucks.
This is my, like I said, I picked
is a shocker.
one big person, and this is my shot. We had them both at the bottom of Pacific this year.
The Canucks have come up. They're 30-21 with 65 points. Don't know how, but they're making it. They're letting it be.
I don't know who's on their team because I don't pay attention to them.
I'm not really sure.
I really don't know who they have, but good for you guys. I'm not sure if it's an effort from everybody, including the coaching, but you guys are putting on a run in probably one of the toughest divisions, in my opinion.
Yep.
My poor Coyotes, I was cheering for them hard. They started off so strong, and then they started falling off.
Losers of this year, so far, of course, number one, the Red Wings. They're struggling. They're 14-39, 32 points. Kind of figuring things out still. Don't know if they're ever going to do that, but hey, y'all do you. Next, the Kings, and actually it kind of surprised me that the Kings were in this position. I mean, they got a couple people.
They did.
But to be sitting at 19-33 right now.
I think their big thing right now is chemistry. Yeah. Their lines have no chemistry together.
They gave us a run for their money, though.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Their goal is solid.
Of course.
Their goals have always been solid. They don't give a lot. But this year they have. You know, this is one of the few years where you've actually seen them actually give a lot of points up, which is fairly rare for them, but they still have usually pretty solid goal play.
Then you got the Devils at 20-24.
And that was my number one because I think we both thought they were going to be not mid, at least up there this season.
I think that they got some. I think it's just a chemistry issue, honestly.
Same
if they figure out the chemistry, maybe get one more name in there, I think they'll be okay.
Oh yeah.
And then Blackhawks 25-21. I mean, they're in a winning season, but they're still got to figure out things. Just like, I mean, we kind of expected that to happen anyways, but it's definitely a good season, honestly. Like I said, tight, very tight. Still kind of unpredictable right now, but since you know how we roll, we like to predict stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, what you thinking?
So, I'm at a peculiar place because my heart always wanted to say put Boston in. So I'm gonna start with the Western Conference and stick with who I thought from day one, and that's the Colorado Rockies. The Avalanche. I'm not sure why I called it that. I'm talking about baseball, baby. Yeah.
Baseball next week.
Next week. But yeah, the Rockies. Sorry about that. Our baseball Avalanche is their hockey team.
Avalanche.
Avalanche. Yep. We used to have Avalanche here.
Yeah, we did.
Salem. They were the Avalanche.
They were good. Good baseball team.
Good days. But I still think they're going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
The Eastern Conference to me is going to come down between three teams: the Boston Bruins, the Washington Capitals, and the Blue Jackets. I think the Blue Jackets are sitting at a place of 30-17, where I think if they get placed correctly in the seeding when the Stanley Cup comes up, they might make a push. They're kind of like my dark horse a little bit.
I like that. Okay.
My dark horse a little bit. I think they could do something. If not, it'll probably be like Tampa Bay.
Got you. Yep. I say, like you said, I'm still riding with the Avalanche. Still got them taking that, going to the Stanley. And of course, I mean, y'all already know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to cut it a little bit of slack and maybe slide Boston in a possibility too. But my heart's telling me screw Boston. So of course, the Capitals. I'm still hoping for one more. I mean, we're so close. We gotta figure a little more out when it comes to defense.
If it wasn't going to be me and the Boston Bruins, I'd be happy to give the Capitals another one.
It's just the defense, man. Our defense, we got to tighten up on the defensive end. Goals, got to tighten up. Power plays, got to tighten up. There's key things, and of course, y'all hear that on Wednesday's episode, where I discussed all of that and kind of went on a little rant type deal. But you know how it goes. So yeah. Also, big news while we're here talking. Phillip Rivers, he entered free agency.
Yes, sir.
Just talking some NFL, throwing random stuff out there. Daytona 500 is this weekend. You want to give a kind of prediction of who you think is going to come out with the win on there?
Is Keswick driving?
Who?
I don't even know.
He said he doesn't even know.
Let's see. Let me just look up some people. I don't know. Maybe Martin Truex.
You're going with Martin Truex.
Just
You're
random off the
throwing out
top.
Martin Truex Jr. For all you NASCAR fans, we'll get into some more this season. I really didn't have it on the list. I'm just throwing out stuff.
Yeah,
to end
you threw
this
something at me I
episode.
was not
I'm
expecting.
gonna pull out a sleeper. Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer with the Daytona 500 win. I could see it happen. Let's make it happen. Well, with that being said, we're about 1 hour, 10 minutes in. I think we're good. JaxSauce.
I think it's been beautiful.
I think it's been a great episode. We're
It's
back.
a new year, baby.
Back in full effect. Episodes every week. 3 episodes every week at that. Maybe even more. We got the website about to get kicked off. Like I said, www.overtheropesports.com. We got all of our podcasts subscribed. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, eventually iHeartRadio at Over the Rope Sports. Check us out. Hit the subscribe button. Same with the Instagram, social, Facebook, Twitter at Over the Ropes PC. Give us a follow. Hey, personals. OTR KingTy and
Sauce OTR.
It's crazy that of course we got to debut the announcement here with old JaxSauce. He's officially on the team.
I'm on
repping the brand.
I'm repping for the brand.
With that being said, KingTy, JaxSauce, we are signing out. As always,
Stay sauced.
Stay sauced.
Sauce.